The Druid, masters of nature, protectors of the wild, and the ultimate furry.
On you, ooh, you're so warm.
Hi, I'm Forever, your friendly DM, and welcome to the Outcast Guild, where we want to help new players get into the game we all love. And hey, if you're new around here, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and if you have any questions, leave it down below in the comment section. We love to hear from you guys, and we'll answer them as soon as we can. In all seriousness, the Druid is a fascinating class, as it's the love child between a cleric and a barbarian. Okay, I know that sounds weird, but you'll get it as soon as we explain more about it, especially if you know about the classes. And if you don't, what are you doing here? Go check the iCard above for a playlist on all the classes we've covered so far. So, what are Druids? Just like the Cleric, Druids are wisdom-based spellcasters, meaning that should be your highest stat. They are a full caster, allowing them to cast up to 9th level spells, and a prepared caster, allowing them to swap out their Druid spells they know during a long rest. Additionally, they have a spell list similar to the Cleric, with a great mixture of healing, support, and damage spells. On top of that, just like the Cleric, your magic doesn't come from any bloodline, arcane knowledge, or a shady pact you made with a horned stranger after having one too many drinks at the tavern on Friday. It's drawn from the raw forces of nature, ancient spirits, or even a deity of the wild. In addition to spellcasting, Druids also gain their own language in the form of Druidic, and proficiency in simple weapons, light armor, medium armor, and shields. Actually, Druids can't really wear medium armor since medium armor and most weapons have metal in it, and Druids will literally die if they touch metal. First off, that's an overreach. Secondly, I have a whole video on that you can go check in the iCard above, and the idea that the Druids can't use metal is a holdover from older editions, as in D&D 5e, and D&D 2024, there's no rule against it in a mechanical form. You can still Wildshape, and as long as you're wearing armor you're proficient in, yes, you can cast spells. So, what makes a Druid different? Well, that comes in the form of their signature ability, known as Wildshape. Starting at level 2, you can use an action to transform into a beast of a challenge rating 1/4 your Druid level. While in the Wildshape form, you take on the beast's strength, dexterity, and constitution score, while keeping your intelligence, wisdom, and charisma scores. You retain any class features, feats, or skills you may have. So yes, you can be the raging rhino with the bard riding shotgun. And Wildshape will last for a number of hours equal to half your Druid level, ending early if you choose to revert back, if you hit 0 hit point, or die. However, if you revert back willingly or hit 0 hit point, you transform back into your form at the amount of hit points you had before going into Wildshape. Now, as a lot of you are sitting there going, this sounds very broken, there are a few limitations. First off, you can only Wildshape twice per short rest. You can't turn into anything that's not a beast. Additionally, at level 2 when you gain this feature, the creature cannot have a swimming speed or flying speed. At level 4, the creature cannot have a flying speed. And level 8, the creature can have any movement speed you want. On top of that, you can't cast any spells while in Wildshape, however you can concentrate on them. Additionally, at level 2, you gain your Druid subclass, known as a Druidic Circle. While Wildshape is a core feature and defines the Druid, the Druidic Circle is what really fills out this class, as seen by the fact that your next core ability won't come until you're 18 in the form of beast spells, allowing you to cast any spell in Wildshape that doesn't have a material component. Additionally, at level 18 you gain Timeless Body, allowing you for every 10 years you live to only age 1. And then at level 20 you gain the feature Archdruid. This allows you to cast spells while in Wildshape as long as the spell doesn't have a component that is either consumed or has a gold price. Additionally, you can cast Wildshape as much as you want. Now, fast forward to 2024, and Dungeons & Dragons does a complete rework. With it comes a brand new Druid class, allowing you still at level 1 to gain Druidic, however you only have proficiency in simple weapons and light armor. Just wait, at level 2, instead of gaining a circle, you get to choose a Primal Order. Either the Magician, which gives you an extra Druid cantrip that doesn't count against your Druid spells known, and a bonus to your Nature or Arcana checks equal to your Wisdom modifier. Or you can choose the Warden, giving you proficiency with medium armor and martial weapons, meaning yes, you could quite literally be the hippo with the clippo.
Smash!
Now, Wildshape got some serious changes, as now it's a bonus action for every druid, not just the moon druids. You can speak in beast form, however you still can't cast spells. Additionally, you don't have to wait till level 4 for a swimming speed. Now, one of the biggest changes is that Wildshape's no longer a damage sponge ability, that you keep your hit points rather than taking on the beast hit point. Now, to compensate for this, you do gain temporary hit points equal to your druid level, and this does mean that smaller species such as rats, cats, or anything else you might go into for a stealth mission now has a lot more hit points than normal. However, this also means that bigger creatures become more of a glass cannon. Now, compared to the 2014 version, there is a lot more features given to the 2024 version, such as at level 2 you also gain Wild Companion, allowing you to cast Find Familiar by using a Wildshape or spell slot. Then at level 5 you gain Wild Resergence, allowing you to use a spell slot to restore a use of Wildshape, or to burn a use of Wildshape to regain a first level spell slot. At level 7, you get the choice of Elemental Fury, either potent spell casting, allowing you to add your wisdom modifier to any cantrip damage you deal, and when you hit level 15, it allows you to increase any cantrip with a range of 10 feet by 300 feet. Or you can choose Primal Strike. This allows you to add 1d8, increasing to 2d8 at level 15, lightning, thunder, fire, or cold damage any weapon or wild shape attacks you make. At level 18, you still gain beast spells, which works exactly the same from 2014. However, Archdruid has had some changes. It still allows you to cast any spell while in Wildshape, however, it also gets the ability of Timeless Body, and instead of the unlimited uses of Wildshape, this new version allows you to regain spell slots by expending Wildshape. For every expended Wildshape charge you use, you can regain up to 2 levels worth of spells, meaning that if you say spent all 4 at level 20, you could regain up to an 8th level spell, or any combination of spell levels that equal 8. Similar to the Cleric and Barbarian, Druids are defined by their subclasses. So let's take a look at them and see what changes have been made. First introduced in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, the Circle of Stars didn't really get any changes. But again, why would you change perfection? However, let's still look over this feature for anyone new to the class. When you choose a subclass, either at level 2 for 2014, or at level 3 for 2024, you gain the ability of Starry Map, allowing you to create a magical map, either a scroll, tattoo, or whatever matches your druid aesthetics, that counts as a spellcasting focus, and allows you to cast Guidance, and gives you the Guiding Bolt spell along with free uses of it equal to your wisdom modifier. And don't worry, if you run out of free uses, you can still burn a spell slot. On top of that, you gain a feature known as Starry Form, allowing you as a bonus action to turn into a constellation of your choice. The Archer allows you to make a ranged spell attack as a bonus action with a range of 30 feet and deals 1d8 plus your wisdom modifier in radiant damage. Additionally, at level 10, its damage is increased to 2d8. The Chalice. It allows you, whenever you cast a healing spell, to choose a creature you can see within 30 feet of you and heal them by 1d8 plus your wisdom modifier, increasing to 2d8 at level 10. The Dragon. It allows you to turn any intelligence, wisdom, or concentration check that is a 9 or lower on the die into a 10. Additionally, at level 10, while in this form, you gain a flying hover speed of 20 feet. At level 6, you gain Cosmic Omen, meaning whenever you take a long rest, you roll a d6. On an even, you gain the ability Wheel. This allows you as a reaction whenever an ally makes a d20 test within 30 feet of you to add a d6 to their roll. And on an odd, you gain Woe. This allows you as a reaction whenever a creature makes a d20 test within 30 feet of you that you can see to subtract a d6 from whatever they rolled. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier before needing to take a long rest. At level 10, you gain the ability Twinkling Constellation, allowing you to change your starry form at the start of each of your turns. And at level 14, you gain Full of Stars, giving you resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage as your body becomes semi-incorporeal. Now what can I say about Circle of Stars? Besides, this is one of my favorite Druid circles. In fact, this is the first Druid I ever played. And yes, I know it hadn't got any flashy changes, however it already sort of matched with a new idea of Druids, especially since it came out in one of the last source books that we got. But altogether, this subclass has been one that I love. As yes, you can play support, but it has so many opportunities for you to change up your gameplay style, regardless of whatever the party is. Okay, on to the big changes! Circle of the Land. First introduced in D&D 2024's Player Handbook, this was supposed to be the original spellcasting druid. Starting at level 2 for the 2014 version, you gain the following benefits. A bonus cantrip, allowing you, just as it says on the box, to add a cantrip of the druid spell list that doesn't count against the spells you know. Additionally, you gain natural recovery, allowing you to regain a number of spell slots in level equal to half of your druid level, rounded down during a short rest. Once this feature is used, however, you need to finish a long rest before doing it again. And finally, you get to choose your land circle, allowing you to pick one of 9 lands, either Arctic, coastal, desert, forest, grasslands, mountain, swamp, or underdark, and gaining spells associated with the chosen land. Now comparing that to the 2024 version, at level 3 you get to still choose your land circle, however your options are more limited as tropical, arid, temperate, and polar, and just like the 2014 version, you gain an expanded spell list associated with the land. However, unlike 2014, you can change out the land circle you chose during a long rest. Additionally, you gain a new feature in the form of Land's Aid. As an action, you spend a use of Wildshape to create a 10-foot sphere within a point you can see within 60 feet of you. All creatures of your choice within the area must make a Constitution saving throw, taking 2d6 necrotic damage or half as much on a success, and creatures of your choice can heal by 2d6 hit points. The effects of this will be increased at level 10 by 1d6, and 14 by 2d6, for a maximum of 4d6 for this effect. At level 6, the 2014 version gained Land Strike, making it where you aren't hindered by non-magical terrain and have advantage on saving throws against plants, while the 2024 version gave you Natural Recovery. This feature worked the same as the 2014 counterpart, except the spells regained could not be higher than 6th level. Moving on to level 10, both of them gained Nature's Ward, both giving immunity to the poison condition. However, the 2014 version additionally gave you immunity to diseases and being charmed or frightened against elementals or fae. On the other hand, the 2024 version gives you resistance to an associated damage of your choice, either cold, fire, lightning, or poison, and this is determined by the land you had chosen. And finally, at level 14, your capstone is known as Nature's Sanctuary. However, they couldn't be more different depending on the version. The 2014 version says whenever a beast or plant targets you with an attack roll, they must make a wisdom saving throw versus your spell save DC. On a failed save, they must target a new creature or end their turn. However, on a success, they're immune to the effects for 24 hours, while the 2014 version allows you to spend a Wildshape to create a 15-foot cube of spectral forest that lasts for 1 minute or until you're incapacitated, and you can move as a bonus action. This area grants allies with the resistance given to you by your Nature's Ward ability. Additionally, they're given half cover, giving them a +2 bonus to their armor class and dexterity saving throws. Now, when it comes to Circle of Land, this has always been one of those that has seemed so strange. It has never really fit in my mind as a true druid subclass, rather something that's been hodgepodge together. And the new version really follows through with a thematic feel to it. You are not just some druid that channels the power of the land, you are the master of the land. You adapt to the land you're at, and are able to channel it to help or hinder whoever you wish. Okay, time to talk about everyone's fan favorite, Circle of the Moon. Circle of the Moon was first introduced in 2014's Player's Handbook, and has stood the testament of time as the martial druid, as really I haven't seen any other option outside of Circle of Spores. Now, at level 2, when you gain the subclass in 2014 version of druids, you gain Circle Forms. This allowed you to Wildshape into a creature of challenge rating 1 or lower, and then at 6th level, you could Wildshape into a beast of a challenge rating equal to 1/3 your druid level. Jumping forward to 2024 Circle Forms, instead of giving you the challenge 1 transformation, you're now just able to transform into a creature that is 1/3 of your druid level. Additionally, while transformed, you gain temporary hit points equal to 3 times your druid level, And whenever you take a beast form, you can either choose to use their armor class, or have an armor class equal to 13 plus your wisdom modifier while in Wildshape. As for 2014, their secondary ability in level 2 was Combat Wildshape. This feature allowed them to transform as a bonus action instead of an action, and allowed them to expend a spell slot to heal by 1d8 per level of spell slot used. As for 2024, since Wildshape is a bonus action for all druids now, it's been changed to circle spells, giving you spells that you're always prepared and don't count against your prepared spells. These spells include Cure Wounds, Starry Wisp, and Moonbeam at level 3, Conjure Animals at level 5, Font of Moonlight at level 7, and Mass Cure Wounds at level 9. Additionally, these spells can be cast while in Wildshape. So yes, you can maul the big bad, then Cure Wounds the fighter from the comfort of your direwolf form. Moving on to level 6, for both versions you gain an ability to overcome resistances and immunity. In 2014, this is Primal Strike, causing all your attacks while in Wildshape to be considered magical for the purposes of overcoming resistances and immunities. While in 2024, you gained improved circle forms, allowing you to deal radiant damage in place of the normal damage when in Wildshape, and while in Wildshaped, you can add your wisdom modifier to any constitution saving throw. Remember, this also counts for concentration too. As for level 10, the 2014 version gained an interesting feature known as Elemental Wildshape, allowing you to spend 2 Wildshape uses to transform into an elemental. In comparison, the 2024 version got a more tamed feature in the form of Moonlit Step, allowing you to teleport as a bonus action up to 30 feet, additionally giving yourself advantage on your next attack roll when you use this feature. As for how many times you can use it, it's equal to your wisdom modifier before needing to take a long rest, but if you're out of uses and really need to get up and go, you can spend a second level or higher spell slot to use this again. Now, on to the capstones. Level 14, the 2014 version gained 1,000 forms. This allowed them to cast Alter Self at will. And yeah, that was about it.
So what are you waiting for?
I don't know.
As for 2024, you gain Lunar Form, allowing you whenever you use Moonlit Step to bring one willing creature with you that's within 10 feet of you, and once per turn, when you hit a creature, you can deal an additional 2d10 radiant damage while in Wildshape. So, I do know this is a decrease in power to the Moon Druid. However, for someone like me, I find the Moon Druid now more interesting in 2024. While yes, it did have some interesting features, it did fall into the same issue as Circle of Land, as it was more hodgepodge together without a clear theme, and really just felt like a power class, putting it up there with the Champion Fighter, the Hexblade Warlock, the Bear Barbarian, and hell, even the Evocation Wizard, as classes that are just meant to deal big numbers without really having any flavor. Altogether, I have to say I love the changes that came to the Druid in 2024. They've added a new level of versatility in the class, allowing for players to fit the flavor of their Druid to any playstyle they want, with features like Primal Order and Elemental Fury. On top of that, reworks to classes like the Moon and Land Druid, I feel greatly improved the classes, as now they actually match better with their own themes, just like how most of the later Druid circles did. But what about you? What do you think about the changes that came to the Druid in 2024? Do you love them? Hate them? Are you on the fence about them? Let us know in the comment section down below. And if you have any questions on D&D, we'd love to hear from you. Thanks for sticking around this long if you have. And hey, if you want some extra goodies for that Druid in your life, go check out Forever's Guide to the Guild, our own D&D 5e supplement where you'll find deep dives into guilds within your worlds, a guide on how to operate the Outcast Guild in your world, plus 9 unique shops, 2 backgrounds, around 12 spells, and over 200 magic items, with things such as the Barkskin Armor, Nature's Harmony, and many more to help out the Druids in your table. And yeah, if you like seeing D&D, go check out our sister channel, Guildfile, where we're posting the VODs from our live stream games over on twitch.tv/The Outcast Guild, where we stream every Saturday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Idrio Chronicles. But with all that being said, you've been wonderful. As always, make sure to keep calm and geek on, and we'll see you around the guild.